My name's Dunny, set up builds and stuff. Today's video is going to be about an upcoming buff to the mighty Black Talon. Bungie released a big old sandbox update. I'll leave a link to that in the comment section of this video. Various different exotics, but the Black Talon is getting some very juicy buffs. I'm going to go over what it does now, what the catalyst does now, what the catalyst's going to do, and some of the buffs that's coming towards for this sword. So stay with me, I'll break the whole video down. So the Black Talon, it is a void sword. It's got the perk on their crow's wings. Fire a heavy projectile attack. Heavy projectiles are stronger with full energy. It's got the perk on their tireless blade. Sword ammo granted for every overpowered kill. And it's also got the catalyst on there. Right now this increases your damage when you block. This is getting changed, but we'll still go over just to show you what it does right now. Firstly, when I first got Black Talon, I used to run around Gambit Prime with this thing on my Invis Hunter and just get multi-kills all the time with this team wipes. Anyways, good old days. This is what it does now. It fires a projectile attack, just like so. You could double it up quick if you're fast enough. You could also do like a cheeky little combo with it as well. But it's like a ranged attack sword. Pretty decent. The other thing it's got is the catalyst. I'm not going to spend too much time because it's getting changed. It says shots blocked immediately after garden will increase the damage of your projectile. So 92 against the unstopped. Bearing in mind he's not unstopped, so it's hitting for 92. And then all we're going to do is do a little block. You see that reversal pop up on that bottom left in a second. That's the catalyst, and it goes to 137. It's a decent buff, 50%, but it's kind of tricky to sort of consistently keep it going. This is why they're changing it. So basically now, this is what it says. Black Talon is strong in its own way, but struggles to keep up in today's build crafting world. We've made a few changes to make it fit a bit better in void orientated builds, while also carving away some of extreme ammo hunger like we did with Wildland Zero and Heart Shadow. But the one thing that really stood out to me that looks amazing with this is heavy attacks now suppress on hits. If target is already suppressed, it spreads to nearby targets. Now let me tell you something, suppression is absolutely underrated in this game. It is the ultimate end game debuff. It literally renders enemies completely useless, and if you do your attack on a target that's already suppressed, it will automatically spread to the targets as well, so you're going to be able to spread that suppression. Now this is where it gets a bit interesting, because the catalyst now states on a hit it gives you a 10% damage boost per void debuff on the target for 2 seconds. So basically every time you put a void debuff on, you're going to get 10% extra damage. This feels like a little bit like aggregate charge. Aggregate charge is 11%, but it's tied to void. So you're going to have 10% from suppression, and you're going to be able to apply things like weakening and volatile to get extra damage on top of that. 10% per void debuff. So we're just going to break that down a little bit. So obviously it's already applying suppression. Well, it will do when Renegades drop. So there's going to be 10% straight away just by applying suppression. Now suppression does do overload as well. So you're going to be able to overload. Obviously, we've got overload sword this season, but suppression is actually overload. So it's going to have built-in overload now, just for a start. And then obviously there it states on a hit, it gives you 10% damage boost per void debuff. So straight away, you're going to have 10% from suppression. So there's 10% straight away. You're going to add weakening. There's going to be another 15% plus 10%. So you get 10% for another void debuff and another 15% for weakening. So just by adding a suppression grenade, with Echo of Undermining, you're actually going to be able to apply a couple of void debuffs there. You're going to get suppression and weakening. So the damage just is going to go up and up and up per debuff. Now, there is some like really good sort of like class item combos and exotics that's really going to max this damage out on this Black Talon. We're going to take a quick look at them. Various different ones. The Foe Tracer on the Hunter is very, very potent. You're going to hit something with avoidability, i.e. a smoke bomb or a grenade, and you're going to get 25% damage increase on your void weapons. So you can see there, you got your void weapon boost 25% for 15 seconds, and that is going to stack with all the changes coming to the catalyst. So you can get a 25% damage increase, plus your aggregate charge, like that's what it looks like we're getting on this sword a little bit. You can sort of mix all these up together, and do some massive damage. I just want to focus on the suppression a little bit as well. Suppression is absolutely massive in this game. It's a very underrated debuff. It literally renders enemies useless. Having that built into your sword is going to be absolutely nuts. We've got exotic class item combos like Spirit of the Foe Tracer. Now, the other interesting one to pair with this is the Spirit of the Gryphorcan, because this will give you volatile rounds as well every time you come out with invisibility. So that's another way to work with the aggregate charge that looks like this sword's getting. So your suppression, 10%. You're going to apply weakening. There's extra debuffs for your aggregate charge. And then you're going to be able to get volatile rounds as well. So you could technically get 30% on the sword, plus your weakening and your Foe Tracer, all working together at the same time, and it's super easy to do. Obviously with Gryphorcan, it's your volatile, your suppression on the sword or from your grenade, and then you've got your weakening all working together. This could be absolutely massive, guys, and just being able to spread that suppression and apply suppression to tankier targets is going to be really, really good. The actual sandbox update looks incredible. I'm going to leave that in the comment section, so feel free to check that out. I can't cover the full thing because it'd literally take me 40 minutes. This is the way I like to cover the videos. I like to go over in depth a couple of exotic buffs versus just skimming over a few. So a quick example of the Gryphorcan Foe Tracer working together. Again, you're going to have all them debuffs applied for that aggregate charge. Again, that's what it kind of looks like, what we're getting with the Black Talon on the fly. You've plenty of tankiness going on with it. I mean, not tanky, but you don't really need resistance because you're invisible all the time with your Stylish Executioner. You do not need resistance. If you play the build right, you can go Foe Tracer Gryphorcan and you could just skim out of invisibility. You could get up close with your sword. This sword is also getting some other buffs. Things like heavy ammo regeneration are going to get a duelist trance on there as well. Like I said, increase the maxed ammo reserves and reduce the heavy attack cost from 3 ammo instead of 4. So there is some other good things coming as well to this sword. So all in all, I think this looks incredibly strong. The other thing, just to sort of mention that I looked when I read this update as well, we're getting a lot of Void exotic buffs. I don't want to give you any spoilers, but it probably looks like we're going to be heading towards a Void season. So we're going to get some seasonal artifact perks as well, all based around Void. So it could be incredible. The other thing I just want to mention as well before we wrap this video up, this could also be used for DPS with Tether, because if you run Tether and Foe Tracer, you get the 25% from Foe Tracer and the 30% from Tether and the other buff we've talked about. So a team of 6 of these could be very interesting in certain situations. I can't wait to try this out on day 1. Let me know if you think I did a good job on this video. I appreciate a thumbs up and a follow as always. I hope you guys found it somewhat helpful. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.